Welcome to AFP's Beijing Bureau, where we as journalists gather stories about China as it unfolds. This tower in one of the busiest districts of the Chinese capital is home to about 20 AFP staff. And by pulling together our talents across all media platforms, we deliver the most exciting and informative stories for our viewers across the world.
I'm the China news editor, which means that I'm essentially running the day-to-day coverage of what's an amazing country. We have a great team of reporters here, and we're constantly working on a whole range of different topics. China is obviously the world's most populous country, 1.4 billion people, the world's second largest economy, and at the same time it's a one-party state. If you're a journalist, it's basically the best gig on earth.
The thing about working at AFP, which I love, is that we cover almost everything. That includes politics. I probably stood as close to Xi Jinping as you are to me, although we're always separated. I mean, those occasions can be very frustrating because the access that we get to the leadership is pretty limited to photo opportunities and handshakes. But it is definitely the first couple of times interesting to see the leadership so close up. It's not always so easy reporting in China, but that's part of the fun, I think.
Please shut down your camera.
From going out to cover sensitive issues and you have plainclothes police following you or tailing you or harassing and intimidating your sources from talking to you. You may be covering the trial of a dissident or a human rights lawyer who has been suspected of causing a disturbance in public places. And the next day you might come in and have to talk to family members of people who were on board the missing Malaysian flight.
I'm more on the economy news side, which is of great interest for our French clients, partly because of the strong presence of French companies in the country. We also cover widely diplomatic relations between France and China, given the 50th anniversary between the two countries.
It's hard to imagine doing other things. I mean, I've actually, I did spend the last 5 years doing a desk job. I always had the desire to get back to shooting, and I'm just really happy that I've got the chance to be back on the streets shooting again.
We have more than 3.9 million followers on our Weibo account. Weibo is like a website very similar to Twitter. Most of our followers are Chinese, so they would like to read how foreign news agency is describing China.
Sometimes it's censored. That's the power from the netizens is actually stronger than the censors because it's too fast. It all happens too fast on Weibo. The information spreads just like fire. So we also have to keep our eyes wide open to spot on everything going on.
The reason I'm quite interested in sports in China is not necessarily because I like sort of doing how well teams are performing, but I think that sport's a really good window into this change in China. Coming from the 1970s when it was a very closed, very insular society to now where it's very open. But that's putting tremendous pressure on the sports system here, which was previously very Soviet, very controlled, where the country was trying to breed patriotic champions to sort of act as heroes for the masses.
The media market in China is booming, but for us it's still very difficult to tap into. China is still a highly regulated market for foreign press.
I think AFP is very well known in China. Their first impression is that AFP is a French news agency. Their view of AFP is that it's a credible news organization. Its reports are reliable.
So, I hope you have now a better understanding of Beijing Bureau. Some of our colleagues have been here for 1 year, others for 25 years. But Beijing Bureau has anyway a long story which dates back to the 50s. And as China is one of the world's biggest story, we look forward to becoming bigger too.